I did a question box on my Instagram. I'll also link that below. And I got a good amount of questions, so I screenshotted a couple and we're gonna start with those today. So let's jump right on into it. The first question, and just so you know, not all the questions are related to chronic illness, but a lot of them are because I did post this on my Chronically Ill Diaries Instagram page. So just a heads up. But the first question that I have here is, when did you find out you had kidney failure? So the first time I found out that I had kidney failure was in 2018. I had like my first big flare. I have talked about it on the podcast before if you want more details on that, but I had my first like really big flare, and it kind of sent my kidneys into a state of no recovery. Doctors tried multiple things, such as different types of chemos. I tried 2 types of chemos, Cytoxin, which is the most common one for lupus patients, and there was one more, rituximab. I did both of those for a total of, I think, around 6 months. And at the end of it, we came to the conclusion that it did not do what it was supposed to do. And so that's kind of when the kidney failure kicked in and I got listed for transplant in 2018 after the chemotherapy failed, essentially. However, I found out that I had kidney disease when I was 13, when I found out I had lupus. So kidney disease and kidney failure are 2 different things. And we will go more into detail on that in a future video in PODmas. However, the kidney failure, when I knew it was real, was 2018, the end of 2018, around this time actually, like in between Thanksgiving, Christmas time is when I got listed for the first time at Stanford. So that's that. Let's see. Another question, how do you get listed for transplant? So how you get listed is basically you pick a transplant center. A lot of major hospitals have transplant centers, and normally your nephrologist can reach out to them, and you fill out a bunch of paperwork, and you end up going to the hospital, and they have like a treatment thing that they're going to put you through. For example, when I got listed at Mayo Clinic of Arizona, I actually was living in San Diego at the time. So I came to Arizona and they fit all of the tests into one day. So it was an 8-hour shift of testing for me, starting with, they pull like 14 to like 15, 16 vials of blood. And then you head off, you have to get a pap smear, a chest x-ray, EKGs, ultrasounds, a bunch of stuff. And there were so many tests I had to have a lunch break. They don't always do that. If you are being listed in a city that you live in or live fairly close to, you typically can get things done like as time goes on, because it's not necessarily you need the transplant that second. However, since I was out of state, it was just easier for me to do it all in one day. So that's what we did. And it was horrible because it was so many things in one day, rather than, oh, I have to do blood work in this today, and then in a month I have to do one more thing, which is normally what happens. After that, you don't really hear back for a little bit, and you get your transplant coordinator, they assign you, and then they start giving you like the steps of everything you need to do. It's very laid out for you. And then they kind of take you down whichever path you're going to go, whether it's living donor, paired donor, deceased donor, whatever it is, they take you down that path. You get placed with a coordinator, and they kind of take it from there and tell you step by step what needs to be done, what's going to happen, if you have any questions. And yeah, that's like the very basics of it. Like I said, we will go more into detail on that with a future video, where I can really go into the detail, even pull up some of those things if I have them still, and kind of tell you like what the actual steps are after you had that initial workup done, which is like very interesting, very fun, a lot of stuff to do. It's like a full-time job, I would say. But that is a good question because it is very tricky and not a lot of people know how to go about it. So that is how it starts out. How many places were you listed? This was all from one person, by the way. I was listed at Stanford, CPMC, which is San Francisco, and Arizona Mayo Clinic. Those were the 3 places that I were listed, and I ended up getting my transplant through Stanford, and I'm very happy with my results. Me and Sydney, we're doing good. But you could be listed in as many places as you want, as long as they're not in like the same area. So with CPMC San Francisco, I had to pick between them and Stanford because they're both in Northern. So I could be listed in Stanford and LA or Stanford and San Diego, but I can't be listed both at Stanford and CPMC. So during the time, it was one or the other. And I was only at one, then I stopped, and then I switched to Stanford. So it was kind of like back and forth type of thing. But you could be listed in multiple states, multiple cities. It's nice. So you can have a greater chance of getting that kidney or whatever transplant that you do need quicker. The next question kind of jumps to a different topic, and the question is, are you married? And yes, I'm married, right here. Franz and I got married in August, and it was here in Arizona with close family and friends and our Arizona friends. And we are gonna have like our big planned, expensive, fun ceremony, or reception, I should say, back home in Northern California, and that's gonna be February, on our anniversary of when we started dating. So it'll be on our 5-year dating anniversary, which is so cute. And actually, our rehearsal dinner for the wedding is at the restaurant that we met for the first time. So it's all just like a cute little thing happening, and I love it and I can't wait. So stay tuned for pics of that. But yes, I am married since August, so really fun. How does your husband deal with your illness? So not gonna lie, it was very hard at first, I would say, for both of us, because you, at least for me, you being a person that has dealt with this illness for quite some time, and like you know yourself, you know your body, you know that an invisible illness is invisible, but you understand what you feel, what that means, what that entails. And being with a person that maybe has never even been to a hospital in their life, being with someone that has never seen someone be sick before other than like a cold or like a flu or something, and then them not having a lot of knowledge about specifically your illness or just illnesses in general, and they're the person that is your right-hand man or woman. They're the person that's supposed to be your rock, but they don't know and they don't understand. And even though they're open and they want to learn and they want to understand, it takes time to build that and for them to experience what you go through, for them to fully understand. And someone that is willing to stick by you through all of that is someone like really worth keeping. The person I dated before Franz, he did not give a fuck about anything. He did not want to try to understand. He did not care. He didn't care if I was in pain. He didn't care if I was upset. He didn't care that I went through chemo and I felt like shit. And like, he was just like, whatever, like, okay, that's just what you have to do. Franz, however, was very sympathetic. He had like sympathy pains for me throughout every experience that I've ever went through, but it also took him a long time to like fully understand. At first he didn't really understand like, how could I be feeling this way if I still go to the gym and I feel fine and I work and I look fine. How can I be so sick feeling? How can I not want to eat? How can I just want to like lay in bed all day? Like, it took him a while to like understand it, but once he did, it was a lot better. And just that he took the time to fully like stick with me and try his best to be there for me, or even just to like try to understand when he really didn't, really meant a lot to me and showed me that I could be with this person forever. Because not a lot of people can do that or want to do that or are willing to do that, because it's a lot of work and it's a lot put on that person, or anyone that's close to you in your life that's being there for you. So he definitely did good. And he's accepted that he is just gonna gotta deal with me for the rest of his life now that we're married. So he definitely, by the time I had my transplant, he was very equipped to it all, and he knew like what he got to do for me and help me through mentally, physically. He knew all of it by then, which was great, because I couldn't imagine being with someone that was like off in la la land and like whatever, like you had a surgery, like it's fine. No, he was very attentive to my needs and all of that. So I'm very, very grateful. What is something you wish you could do? Sorry. What's something you wish you could do different when it comes to your illness? One thing that I wish I could do different would probably be to not would probably be to do more of my own research on my own, rather than only listening to doctors or my gut. So typically I would listen to the doctors, and if I felt like the doctors were smart or I liked them or whatever, I would just listen to them. I would never get second opinions or whatnot. And I really wish that I just did like my own research and just learned a little more about the illness from the start. Although throughout my whole 13 years of this journey, I feel like I was very lucky to have such amazing doctors that I was with for so long. My very first doctor at Children's, he was like literally the best doctor. The nephrologist sucked, but my rheumatologist was amazing. At Stanford, my nephrologist, most amazing doctor ever, and my rheumatologist sucked. And then now my rheumatologist is cool, and same with my nephrologist. Like, nothing bad to say, nothing like, oh my god, amazing. It's just like they keep me alive, they keep me well, they keep me going, and that's all I can say. My transplant doctor at Stanford, I really do like her, and she's growing. Like, our connection is growing, I feel. If you ask her, she's probably like, no, I hate this girl, she's so annoying, because I ask so many questions, messaging her all the time, like, oh my god, my side hurts, is it my kidney throbbing? Like, I'm literally so extra with it. But hey, better be safe than sorry. Better to be safe than sorry, because you never know. I've never had a kidney transplant before. I don't know what it's supposed to feel like. I don't know if a throb in my new kidney is supposed to feel good or bad, or if that's normal, if I'm not supposed to feel anything at all. Like, I don't know. So I send her a lot of messages. I'm usually late to my appointments, and yeah, so maybe she hates me, but I like her, so there's that. Let's see. This person said, I am newly diagnosed. How do you build a support system? With that question, I would honestly say family is number one. And obviously, if you don't have family that is supporting you or is trying to understand what's going on, whether that be a parent, a spouse, then you can always turn to a friend. I know during a period of the time, I turned to one of my close friends, and she really helped me through a lot of the hard times. My really bad flare, I kind of just vented to her. Not that she even really knew anything at the time, but by the end of it, she knew so much, and she was very supportive and checked on me a lot. And we didn't live together, obviously, but she checked up on me as if we did all the time. And you always can turn to a friend if family isn't being the support that you need. And honestly, too, everyone needs a different type of support. I think it's amazing when family and friends are supportive, but honestly, there's only so much support that those people can give you, especially if they've never been through something like that and they can't really understand it. They just are being sympathetic, trying to understand like from your point of view, but they don't have a point of view of their own. So for me, when I felt like I was ready to share my story, which was in 2019, I started sharing my story, and that's when I met a bunch of amazing, beautiful people on the internet, in this community, in the chronically ill community. And that's why I love the name The Chronically Ill Diaries too, because like the whole community of chronically ill, not just kidney, not just lupus, like everyone, the Crohn's, the rheumatoid arthritis, the other arthritis, the all the lung, heart, brain, skin, like everyone in this community is so amazing, so supportive, so uplifting, so relatable. You don't know what support is until you talk to someone who's been through the same thing, and it makes you feel so normal. You telling your spouse everything that has happened to you in the past however long since diagnosis, they will probably be like, oh my God, like shocked, I'm so sorry, the sympathy comes pouring in. You tell that to someone in the community, and it's like, damn, we both went through the same thing, we both went through a similar thing, like, we're badasses, we got this, like, I got you if you need me, or I got you if you need anything, you can talk to me, like, went through that, it fucking sucked, but guess what, this is how it ended up. Or I would post like, oh, I'm starting dialysis, and that's when I met one of my good friends now, because she was like, I just got a transplant and I was on dialysis for this many years and blah, blah, blah. And she was able to kind of coach me through the experience. And I actually did a podcast with her on here. Her name's Nadia. So go look for that podcast. It was really good. But she like coached me through the time if I ever felt scared or weird or had questions. Sorry, that's my alarm to take my meds. But if I ever had questions or concerns or anything, just hit her up, and she was there for me at all times. And there's always someone to talk to, someone to turn to, someone to support you, you to support them. It's an amazing place for support, and I highly suggest just sharing a little bit. And even if you don't want to share, that is totally fine. But you just kind of start changing your searches to more of the chronically ill community, and I promise you, you are going to find the most amazing people you have ever met in your life, truly, and the most relatable, like I said, and you will not regret your decision to meet these people and befriend them. And it's amazing. And everyone who's listening and follows me on Instagram and YouTube, you all are amazing, strong people, and I have loved your support and the advice I could give you, the advice you could give me over the past 5 years. It really means so much to me. But yeah, I love that question. Thank you for asking that. And I can be your support, so you can message me anytime you want. No problem. This next question. How do you work out often when you just had a kidney transplant? So December is 7 months post-transplant. I'm doing pretty good. I really feel like I'm very in tune with my body, and I know what to push and what not to push, when I should, when I shouldn't. A lot of exercises that I used to do, I stopped for all these months because I did it, like, for example, deadlifting. I love deadlifting, but after my surgery, I tried to do super lightweight and it hurt really bad in the area where my new kidney is. So I stopped doing that. And I recently tried again, and the pain was not there until I got to a certain weight amount. So it's just literally listening to your body when it comes to working out. And not everyone weightlifts, so it also just really depends on what you like to do. As for energy wise, I have way more energy now than I have in the past 5 years. So to me, I feel like I can do anything right now because I have not felt this good in years. So it's amazing. And also I can drink coffee now, so I drink a lot of coffee because it's so good. But also working out is just something I've always loved, and something that I've always had a passion for, and found joy and happiness and comfort and all the goods in weightlifting and the gym and fitness in general. So it's just something I love to do, and I'll make time and the effort to do it. But even just like going for a walk, moving your body after transplant, that I feel like that's just the best thing for you to do. You don't have to be crazy going to the gym 5 days a week. Simple things, walking, doing just some body weight movements, that just simple things like that are really beneficial to your body just in general, but especially after a major surgery like that, because you just want to stay as healthy as possible and keep that kidney nice and protected, you know? So yeah, it's honestly just the love for the gym that keeps me going, I'm not gonna lie. Second to last questions is, do you want kids? Yes, I do. I always thought I was going to be a young mom. However, I got on dialysis at 21 years old, and I didn't get off dialysis till 26. Yes, I know I'm still young. I'm just saying I thought it was going to be younger than 26, and it didn't work out like that. And honestly, that's fine. And that's how it was meant to be. And now that I'm a free woman off the leash of peritoneal dialysis, I feel like I can finally do some fun traveling and spend money on traveling and fun things like that. The key word is traveling. That's what I want to do. And all next year, 2024, travel. Like, I am booking shit like nothing. So I am kind of just enjoying life right now. If I get pregnant, I mean, we're married. If it happens, it happens. That's kind of the state I'm in right now. I won't be sad if it happens. And I'm just kind of going with the flow. For sure, you can't have kids until a year out from your surgery. So I have at least another like 6-ish months until I can't even think about that because of the medications that I'm on. So right now I'm just focusing on keeping my kidney healthy, keeping myself healthy, keeping the lupus at bay. And then hopefully when the year mark happens, we can see our options, see if it's something we want to think about at the time. And I don't know, I think it will be a really beautiful experience. Seeing if I could get pregnant, being pregnant, having a baby. But as for now, I'm just living my life, and I'm loving every moment of it. It's what I've been waiting for all these years. And yes, I did live my life. Like, I lived my life to the best of my ability, the most normal young 20-year-old life as I could while on dialysis. However, the feeling like shit for the whole time like wasn't wasn't the best. So to me, it wasn't fulfilling as it is right now. And same with like the traveling thing. I never traveled because it was a hassle, especially towards like the last year. I was on so much dialysis per night that I would have to bring at least like 20 boxes if I wanted to go somewhere for a week. Like, it's crazy. So I have not traveled at all. The only place I would travel was from San Diego to my mom's house, which was in Northern California. That was it. Everything else out of the picture. The one trip we went on, a family trip to Chicago, the packages had to be delivered to the place. Like, it was a whole ordeal, and I was like, no thank you. Trying to bring that machine and make sure it fits in the toilet and all this stuff, no thank you. No. So we travel in, we live in. The baby comes, you know? So yeah, so yes, I want kids. I work as a preschool teacher, so I'm getting my fill, but it's just not the same because they're not my kids and they're a little cray cray. So yeah, but it's still fun, but I want kids of my own. So hopefully one day, hopefully there's no issues or complications, but you know, you'll hear it here if there is or not. So stay tuned for that. And last but not least, the last question is, where did they put your kidney? And the answer is in my lower abdomen on the right side where my dialysis tube used to be. So it is right here in my front, and that's where she is. And she's like right in the front. Your kidneys, like when you're born, are in your back area, your mid-back. And when you have the transplant, they just shrivel up and die, and they like pee them out. And then they hook up your new one to your bladder up in the front, and you just gotta be a little more careful because there's not so much protection going on up here. But yeah, and it's up on your belly. And my little kidney, her name's Sydney. Shout out to my sister for naming her Sydney the kidney. I call her Sid. Is right here, and I give her a little rub every day. And yeah. Well, that was my last question from the Q&A. My camera's about to die. No, oh my gosh.